So in some of my recent Guild Wars 2 videos, I may have been a bit critical of the game, maybe looking at it with a more objective eye. However, that doesn't mean that I dislike the game. In fact, I actually wanted to talk about what I'm excited for this new expansion, Janthir Wilds. Things that I'm legitimately looking forward to. And no, it's not strictly just holding out hope that we're going to be able to play Lowland Coden as a playable race. I can dream, damn it. So the first thing that I am legitimately very excited about, I've been excited since they've announced it, and I'm still a little upset, is the spears. So if you didn't know, land spears will be available for all classes in Janthir Wilds. Now, previously it was just simply an aquatic weapon. You could only use it, and only some classes could use it while being underwater. Now you can use it on land, and every class has access to it. The only reason I'm a little bit upset is, and it's actually just poor timing, is when they did the beta for the spears, I was actually on vacation, so I wasn't able to log in and play anyway. However, I am still very excited about being a spear wielder and use it. Now, it isn't fully my envisioned idea. I love the spear with a shield. I think that is like the coolest kind of combination. I'm talking like 300 Sparta here. But I will say that the spears look interesting, and it seems like each class is getting its own unique twist, and we'll even say taste, to the use of the weapon, both being ranged, being melee. It looks legitimately very interesting, and something that I'm just thoroughly excited for. Now, I do play the Elementalist. I mean, I am repping the Downstate shirt. However, I do want to point out that it does seem like there has been some feedback as far as the Elementalists. Maybe their targeting circles or their red circles that they spawn out makes it a little bit harder to actually see mechanics and dodge and evade the way that you should. Having said that, I will say that without a doubt, I am looking forward to the spears. First and foremost, that it's the top tier. I've been calling it for the longest time, saying, damn it, we need some spears, and ArenaNet finally heard me. Now really what they need to do is just have coffee tables everywhere. So one of the things that I'm legitimately very excited about, not as excited about spears, I have to say, spears are at the top of the list. My next biggest, we'll say, hype is going to be actually the locale of where we're going, the Janthir Wilds. Now, what's interesting to me about this is that it's more of like a drawback into where we are essentially in the central of Tyria, the core of Tyria. Now, technically we were in the Horn of Maguma and all that, so technically it's still a part of Tyria. However, the idea of fighting otherworldly enemies and going to their world, it was unique to the start, but after a while it just felt kind of repetitive, and it lost its interest. And I think part of it too is that when you look at a lot of the enemies, they seem to be just the same character models, just missing bits of them and reallocating them. I wasn't the biggest fan of the enemies, and I've already spoken on Secrets of the Obscure, so I won't waste your time there. However, I'm excited with us going back to more of a worldly type of enemy, type of location, and almost it has like this Nordic, we'll say, like, feel to it. Now, again, you could also make the call to everywhere in any of the Shiver Peaks and, of course, the whole Norn race themselves. I get it, but I'm excited to be there, and also I'm excited to see some brown bears. I like brown bears. If you know anything about biology, polar bears are downright terrifying. Brown bears are terrifying too, but they're a lot less terrifying. All in all, this paired with, and I'll only touch on it because personally I'm not super excited about it, but I know a hell of a lot of people are. I'm excited that we're having this new location where everything is happening and we're getting the homesteads. Now, again, personally, I'm not building a player housing. That has never really been something that I've been at the top tier of my want list. However, there's quite a few people who are possibly the only reason that they're buying the damn expansion, which is okay. That's cool. I will say it's exciting that we're coming back to something that we know. However, we will say that it isn't lacking its interesting parts, and they are trying to take a little bit of a creative step. So we'll see what happens. Now, a couple of the things that I've made a point for myself to actually get it more involved in, and I want to shout out to Dyron if he's still watching. He's been a follower of the channel for a very long time, and he asked me to give it a shot because he made an objective opinion where, well, I spend quite a bit of my time in Guild Wars 2 solo play. I don't really join in and do anything as a group. However, I've been experiencing things in grouped content with Final Fantasy, and I've really enjoyed it. So he suggested that I go ahead and try the group content in Guild Wars 2, and then go from there and ask if that was really what I was missing. Now, I think that that's a fair approach, and I'm very, very excited about raids and encounters that are going to be happening here in Janthir Wild. I'm excited because I know that each expansion does have these, you know, like these extra group pieces of content. I understand that. However, for me, it's a little bit more exciting because instead of me just, you know, passively saying, oh, hey, I'm just going to go do this or that, or I'm just going to watch, I'm actually going to really commit to trying them out here in the next couple of months and really get that good feel for, we'll say, raiding and strike missions in Guild Wars 2. And I feel like that's going to be a fair assessment of this next expansion. Now, I never really put too much time and energy into the group content for Guild Wars 2. And I think that's something that I'm a little bit remiss that I didn't actually give the full effort where it was deserved. So I'm excited that there's a new raid encounter, and I'm excited that there's a bunch of other elements that are going to be added to the game as far as group play. And of course, the open world is always there, and you know there's going to be open world bosses and all that, but it's exciting to me that I will be able to jump back into this and fully commit. Now, I will say this is something to be excited about, so I will just touch on it just gently. I know that I'm probably going to get flagged for this, but I personally am not the biggest fan of housing. However, the homesteads look pretty interesting, and I will say it is that. I'm not going to say that they're at the top tier. That's the most exciting thing. Of course, to me, it's the spears. You give me spears, I'm going to be happy camper. But the idea of having your own, we'll say, fully customizable player housing, that is something that is very exciting. That is interesting enough for many people to just even buy the expansion just based off of that fact, where I think that's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are happy to be able to just have their own customizable area. And it seems like there's a lot of really cool effects. I think I read something about there being legendary armaments that you can put up there, the ones that you've collected, you can kind of display at your homestead. It seems like there's a lot of things that are very, very great about this homestead. And I think that the player housing here is something that is just, that's going to be great for the game, because I feel like a lot of the major MMOs don't necessarily do it, we'll say, well, or to a degree that everyone has the capability to. Now, again, I will compare to Final Fantasy. They do have player housing, but to my knowledge, you have to actually win a lottery to get the player housing, and you have to pay an absurd amount of money, and or in-game currency, not real money. But the idea of it is that if homesteads are done right and you're allowed to customize and make your own kind of like area, I think a lot of people are going to come to the game and they're going to be excited about. It's not the biggest thing for me. I don't really, that doesn't do it for me, but you know, everyone else is excited, so I'm excited for them. And without a doubt, the last thing that I am very excited about, and it's more something that happens every expansion cycle, is the surge of players who are coming back to the game. Now, again, I've highlighted a number of times that Guild Wars 2 is very seasonal. There's ups and downs. There's plenty of things to do. However, most of the time it's you go and play it for a couple of months and you really enjoy it, or you step away and you say, I'll come back to it after a little bit. And the game is great for that. But I'm excited for the new surge of players who are coming in to try Janthir Wilds, because it does seem like it's going to be its own standalone expansion. You know, you'll be able to follow that story and try something else outside of the realm of being the commander or the wayfinder. So I'm interested in seeing the amount of people who are going to come back, enjoy the game as it is, and really just the excitement around Guild Wars 2. I'm excited about that. Now, I've been able to see that recently here with Dawn Trail in Final Fantasy XIV, which is exciting because a lot of people are really excited about playing Dawn Trail, and they're here and enjoying the story, which, again, I highly recommend if you haven't tried it. But I will say that the expansion hype is always something great for a game, and when players come back and they actually truly enjoy the game, or they enjoy the story, the new elements, or what have you, it's a lot of fun. Now, if you're in the same kind of boat that I am, there's quite a few misconceptions that you may or may not have had about Guild Wars 2, and there's some things that I wanted to highlight, talking about specifically the game and what you may have gotten wrong, and you can check that video out here. Otherwise, stay caffeinated, folks.